go to my YouTube channel. That's the least I can do. Right, let me see if my mic works. I'm just gonna talk for a bit. See if it works. Right, it works. Good. Good to know. Alright, good to know it works. Stream's up. I've got my notes up and everything. Right, let's do it. I'll just wait for everybody to come in and then I'll probably just start the stream. Everyone's on racing sauce, as I'd expect. Except one guy who's on, except the rat team that's on mediums. Hello, I hope this is Ray that's listening or watching. So I'm just gonna wait for when the stream goes up or gets published to the viewers. Might take a bit more time, but who knows. Oh no. There's two people watching. I think this should be Ray now. Hello, 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 hello. If this is Ray or not. Then I'm just gonna sit back and relax. Not have much of tea. I have another tea left. I'll do anything about it. Except watch the cars go. Practice. Right, 3 Tons Purple by the county. I think it's been published. I have no idea. It should be. How close it should be. If it is, then hello everybody, and welcome to the stream. Whoever is listening here. Oh, there we go. It's been published. Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. So welcome for Stint 1 for the IRO GTEC Spilit 2 here. It's a pretty stacked grid we have here for Stint 1. It's gonna be a very interesting race. It's gonna be pretty exciting start we're gonna see here. All 14 cars are now in. Some cars are on the lap for now, as it is practice right now. We are about 15 or so minutes from the race start. This is my first time commentating. I will introduce myself. My name is Lugi, and it is good to meet you guys. I would like to thank the IRO team and, for giving me the opportunity to commentate on this occasion. And I'm just gonna make I'm just gonna make as much of this opportunity as I can. So yeah. Joshua says hi. Hello Joshua, good to see you here, mate. Welcome to the stream. So while we are waiting for the start, I think we should also introduce the teams and who's driving for them as well here. We've got Lane here driving for, I believe this is Transatlantic Racing, in that number 93 Lexus. It's very unique livery as well. I love that. Thank you for doing comms for Stint 1. No problem, mate. No pressure, no problem. We got 1010s Racing in, I believe this is the number 10 Lexus, driven by TT Ghost. So they're ones to look out for. They're starting a bit lower on the back, so they're gonna probably go for a charge here. Hansa driving, I believe this is the Race Asylum Corvette number 9. So he's quite, yeah, I think that car is in very capable hands, and it'll be interesting to see how he can cope up and see what he can do for Stint 1. Obviously, starting, I believe, if I'm not wrong, somewhere like P4, P5. It'll be interesting to see how this works out for him. Apex Magnet, I believe. Apex Magnet is driving for Medway Racing League, MRL. Popular team here. And one of the favorites, you could say. Driving the GTR. The GTR is not a bad car at all. So it could be interesting to see how they get along with this. They couldn't make it to Super Bowl, but I think they should be on a charge for today. Rafi Ace. I believe Rafi here is driving for, I believe this is, if I'm not wrong, Speed Buddy Racing. So again, another Lexus. The Lexus is quite the popular choice here. As you can see, there's about 5 or so Lexuses on the grid. I think it's just a popular choice for the season. Nothing much to it. 2 Porsches as well, so it's great to see some MR cars as well. In this scenario, we got Maz here. Maz in the Porsche driving for Full Throttle Racing. And yeah, again, nice to see these guys in the Porsche. Again, another Lexus we got here is for Begani in the PRT team. Grumpy, I believe Grumpy is part of not Rad. Grumpy is part of DMR. It's interesting to see how they'll get along. Start. This is the Rad team. There we go, in the BMW. It's interesting. And they're on the medium, surprisingly enough. So this is interesting for them if they want to stick to the mediums. Maybe they found out something else, because the majority of Slobby is using softs here. Apart from Rad Racing Team. So it's going to be interesting how their strategy is going to go. See? I think I should be doing this then. Still see the tires because of the pit lane, as you can see, because I can't turn that off, but should only show this. So you can see the lap times, you can see the fastest lap, and you can obviously see the leaderboards. But I don't get shouted at for not turning that off a bit earlier, but oh well. So we've got about 7 or so minutes until the formation lap starts, and about 10 minutes until the race starts. So it's going to be interesting. So it feels short, but it can also be very long. The pressure is, as I've sent the message in the chat, the pressure is on for most of these drivers. Starting a Stint 1 in these conditions, you know, the pressure can get to you. And I think most of these drivers, they have to remember the race can't be won in turn 1. And this is a 24-hour race. So, but it is definitely for sure that it is definitely going to be the fact that some drivers, maybe a bit lower in the pack, are going to be a bit more aggressive than the others, considering they have to make up some positions. But let's see, because this is Daytona and anything could happen here. The gaps are going to be very close, that's for sure, especially what we saw in qualifying, with gaps being, oh, if I remember correctly, Super Pole was about like 5/10 to the pole position. From P7 to P1, I was only separated by about 5/10, so it's ridiculously close in this aspect, and you can see why. And it is going to make, for sure, some exciting racing. Obviously, I've also forgot to mention, some drivers here are not using their qualifying drivers. So some people have put their qualifying drivers in for Stint 1, and some have not. So if I remember correctly, Lame was doing qualifying. Drivers like Lame were doing qualifying. Wendy was doing qualifying. If I remember correctly, there's a couple of people that have done qualifying. Just Mortal Just Mortal did qualifying, so it's interesting to see what the plans are with the stints and strategy here, and what the strategy overall is for the race. Maybe obviously they have seen, they have got the inspiration from Split 1 to have an understanding of what the strategy could be, but maybe some drivers and some teams can crack the code here for what could be even a fast strategy maybe. But let's see. So we have about, I believe, just a short amount of about 3 or so minutes until the race starts, formation lap starts. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. It's going to be interesting to see how it dissolves here. Good afternoon, Ray. Good afternoon. Nice to see you here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity again. Thought not said that enough. So let's see how this goes on. 5 minutes until start, Oz says. That's exactly the amount of time we're gonna have left. So I'm just gonna say some hellos into the chat. Hello, Nuclear. Hello, mate. Good to see you here. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you guys here. Hope I could see some activity more in this stream. So I can just talk to you guys a lot more. As well as obviously paying attention to the race. Hello, Ian. Hello. Good to see you here, mate. Welcome to the stream. Two minutes to go. Hello, Nuke. Hello. Good to see you, mate. Right. We have got almost a minute till the race start now. So I'll just, before we on the formation lap, I will go through the grid order and what teams are in that grid order from last to first. Good evening, Jay. Good to see you here. I'm just gonna go over from 14 to first then. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, Tony. Right. So here we go. We should be starting in about a minute now. So let's see how this goes on. Starting soon, and we will be starting the formation lap soon. Just gonna wait for us to start lobbing. Right. I hope everyone in their teams and drivers have a good race. Can be a tempting Stint 1. As I said, the pressure is on for the drivers. It's hard for me to say it isn't. Because Stint 1 is one of the most crucial, if not the most crucial stint in any endurance race, really. And you just gotta hope and you just gotta pray and have the belief that your drivers can do the great job, can do the good job, and that's about it. So here we are starting the formation lap. We've got all the teams registered in. So here we go. Well, let's go to the grid order here. Once they start, should be getting go. Yeah, there we go. Then they get going now. So as you can see, they can have a max speed of about 80 miles per hour. And let's see how this goes. So we got DMR Endurance Racing Team at P14. So qualified last, but you're always gonna have to make your way up, because starting from last does mean there's a lot of opportunities to pick up. Same goes for all the guys at the back. P13 is one community by if I'm reading this correctly, by SBR. So Gianni is driving for them again in the Lexus. Very popular choice of a car here. This is Full Throttle Racing in the Porsche, and Mass is driving it. The number 71 Porsche at P12 here. So it's going to be interesting to see. That Porsche is since it's an MR, the Porsche is very strong onto Sector 1, Sector 2. So picking up positions is not out of the question, because it could do a very good job, as kind of had to avoid Apex Magnet for a bit. Onto Apex Magnet, Medway Racing League in P11. A very popular team, and a team that, given the right amount of preparation, they are a very strong team, and they are one of the favorites in this competition. Obviously, they do have the GTR, which is not the strongest car around this track. However, can definitely make up something good. P10 is driven by Rad Racing Team in the BMW. Again, not the strongest car, but they can make up positions. Again, they're starting on the back, so there's a lot of opportunities to pick up. 10 Tenths Racing, driven by TT Ghost in P9. That is going to be, again, another Lexus, as I follow up with another Lexus in P8 for Speed Buddy Racing. Again, Lexus, a very, very popular choice. Then we got the Porsche of Just Morales. Now we're breaking onto the Super Bowl guys here. Just Mortal in P7 driving for the Aero team. We got Resistance in the VRT team. Again, Lexus. Then we got Hansa in the Race Asylum team. It would be interesting to see what they can do here. Vendigo S7R Phoenix, the number 80 car in the Aston Martin. Then we got Transatlantic Racing, number 93 Lexus, and number 46, Poison Racing Team, and we've got number 5, I believe this is 55 Lexus driving for the Infinite Octane team. So when you're starting from pole, it's going to be a lot of pressure on you. There's a lot of anticipation. Everyone's waiting for you, and look at that. All cars are now double filed, and now they're getting ready, and you can see the pressure is on. It's almost about time. Let's go on board for the start for Ale. Let's see when he goes. When does he go? It's almost about time. It could be at any moment. And they go. The 24 hours of Daytona for IRO Split 2 starts. Ale with a good getaway there. And same thing with the Poison Racing Team. They just broke through everybody else there. Oh, look at that. As you can see, V2 Esports in Just Motor team. And got a great start, but look at that. There's a collision at the back. That's Hansa. Hansa is off and he's crashed into the wall there. And that's not great for the Race Asylum team. And that's not what they wanted. And that's going to be terrible for them. Not how they wanted it to start. S7R Phoenix also dropping back a couple of positions. Now under pressure by Mass. Can Mass get into a position here? Not quite. To stay back a little. Meanwhile, at the front, Transatlantic Racing Team has closed up the gap. So has the Porsche for V2. They're getting the pressure on. They're putting the pressure on PRT here. Vigani, no, Vigani's just got to hold on here. They're going to go into the chicane. Is it going to be side by side, or is he just going to wait it patiently? He is going to go side by side. Look at this. So, who's going to outbrake later? There we go. He just doesn't want to risk it there, which is a good decision. That is not a corner which you want to risk and potentially cost yourself. And it is lap 1. You have to remember that. Just Mortal now right behind Lane here. So he's just going to have the slipstream, and he's going to have to wait it out for a couple of, just on the straight, see if he can get a send into turn 1. Even with the slipstream, he's losing a little bit of time as Lane is closing up on PRT, pushes and bump drafts him. Now here's an opportunity for V2 if he's going to go for it. No, V2 is just Mortal, just backs out. Not going to risk it. That's good. A clean getaway and clean start for them, for these guys here. S7R Phoenix, they need to start charging up towards here. As we can see, look at that. Just Mortal's got a great exit and he's attacking the Lexus, but it's just not going to be enough of a rundown. Can't get the opportunity there. Maybe it's going to be a send down here. It is a send. Oh my god. That is a great send and a great overtake there. P3 for the V2 esports team. Just Mortal making a great overtake. Maybe he can get 2 at once, potentially. No, he's just going to have to defend from Transatlantic Racing. But that is P3 nevertheless. And that's exactly what he would have wanted off the start. I think that's exactly what they would have wanted, starting from about P7 there. Great start for the V2 esports team. Now, I think also we should look at the Infinite Octane team. They had a lightning start and they've got away from the pack as P2, P3 and P4 have just been constantly fighting over and over. And that amount of fighting has also caused up for the VRT team to catch up there back in P5. The gap is now 6/10, but I don't think it's going to be enough looking at the gap. They don't have the slipstream, not enough slipstream to catch up to the pack ahead unless that Lame and Mortal are going side by side, no, potentially side by side. Oh no, as he backs out of it, just tries to bump draft. Mortal is going to go for the overtake into turn 1, squeezes, and that's, oh, as Vigani in the PRT team just goes a little bit off. Now he's going side by side with Resistance. Let's see, Vigani outbreaks Resistance here. Who's going to have the better exit going out of turn 4? It's Vigani, and he holds on for the position 4 now, but he has to look out for Resistance here. 2/10 is the gap here, and it's not been great for Vigani here. It was a bit interesting to see if he was pushed off there. Yeah, people in the chat are saying he might have been pushed off, but that's really hard to say. I think it was definitely a lot. Mortal definitely squeezed him a bit there. Hard to say for sure. I think you're gonna have to check that out later on in the replay. However, let's have a look at the back of the grid. How is it going on for the guys behind? TT goes. Ooh, looks like 1010s have not had the greatest start. I think they had made a pit stop for damage, and that's not how you wanted that's not how they wanted their start to go. That's for sure. That's not great, and 1010s have a lot of work to do now. Hansa, not a great start, and it looks like he's fine, but no idea if he's driving with damage or not. His lap times don't look great. Maybe he is. Stewards are going to be busy, that's for sure. I think this is DMR, it's just got to move a little bit, but Porsche tries to go for a send, and he does. There's contact been made, and Grumpy, the DMR team, has gone off. So it's interesting. That stewards are definitely going to have a look at that again. And that's allowed for Gianni in the Lexus to get a run here. Not quite. But that is interesting. That is an interesting overtake. That may be a potential. Stewards are definitely going to have a look at that, but it's hard to say for sure. let's have a look here. MRL currently just right behind this train of cars here. Not much they could do. The gaps are starting to separate. Between these cars here. So there's not a lot of, there's it's a bit more calmed down now. But it's quite interesting to see how aggressive these drivers really are, even if this is lap 1 still. I think it's just a bit of elbows out and really aggressive at the start, just making up a few positions, but let's see. As, Gianni doesn't have the greatest chicane there, goes a bit wide. Yeah, not what he would have wanted, and that's not going to give him the greatest run to DMR. Let's see, maybe definitely going to have to go for another try later on. Again, just retry, just go for it again. MRL, I believe MRL going for a move here. Oh, Apex Magnet going for a move here on Tin 10. Tin 10 goes off, and that's not great. MRL, Apex Magnet has got 2 positions, so that's, I have got to see this. Rafi, I believe he's got a penalty that's caused Apex to get ahead of him, and then a great overtake. Tin 10 just goes off at turn 1, so again, turn 1 is a very sensitive position. You can lose a lot of time if you just go off there, and that's crucial for you to get it right all the time. Same thing with the chicane. This is wild so far, yeah, that's for sure. It is a really dramatic start, and not what I was expecting for a 24-hour race start. But again, elbows out, and some people and most of the drivers just need to make up as many positions as they can. So it's fair. Just Mortal, believe Lane has got passed. Just Mortal is now on the back of him on the chicane. Let's see who gets a better run through here. Let's go on board with Just Mortal. He doesn't get the greatest run out of the chicane. That's gonna put him, just gonna put him a very slow out of the exit on that corner. That's not great. They don't have the slipstream either, so I don't think they can necessarily to have to wait a few more sectors to get back that opportunity at P2 for Transatlantic. But that's one thing is for sure. I think we are going to see a good fight and a great fight from these 2 guys here. A lot of people in the chat saying this is a wild and this is really aggressive for a race start, and I agree. This is not what I have expected, especially for a 24-hour race. But again, elbows out, and if you want to pick up as many positions as you want, I think some people are just going to go a little bit more aggressive than usual, and that's just how it is. But yeah, and that means you have to make some aggressive moves. And he now on the back of him, looks for a move but can't quite see for it. Battle is on for P10. There's a battle everywhere really, so it's hard for me to really take a grasp and take a look at what's happening for all the scenarios here, because I'm going from one camera to another. It's a bit tiring, but it's hilarious. Yanni on the back of DMR though. Again, DMR is BMW. The BMWs don't have as much of, let's say, straight line speed performance as much as the Lexus would, but so it's interesting to see how this is going to go down into turn 1. I think all Yanni needs is a good chicane, and he can be on the back of Grand Prix, but no, not quite there. Again, not a great chicane, and there's nothing he can do about it. That puts him 6/10 back again, and not enough of a reach or a slingshot into turn 1. So not a lot he can do. Wendigo seeing on the back of PRT here. Wendigo, is he going to go for a move potentially? No, just backs out. Can't have the reach there. But S7R Phoenix now picking up the pieces from the race start that they had. Not the greatest, but they have the pace, and they are 100%. They are 100% can make good work of this. Remember, it is a 24-hour race. Anything can happen. So your race isn't decided in 15 minutes. Just gonna see Wendigo now getting a little bit of a reach into that corner, but not quite. I think he's just gonna have to wait in for the slipstream out after the chicane, and all he can prioritize is just get the run out of the corners and stay as close to Vigony as possible. Can't win the race in 2 hours, so a bit silly. Yeah, I agree, Ray, but yeah, let's see. Maybe these drivers are a bit more aggressive than you'd see in Split 1 maybe, but again, as we see Wendigo going side by side with Vigony here. Ooh, I think that might have compromised Vigony's exit out of the chicane maybe. As you can see, look at that gap, that is really close, and that's gonna give Wendigo enough of a slipstream slingshot into turn 1. Let's see if the straight line speed of the Aston is good enough for a turn 1 overtake. On the outside. Now, as we see, this is going to be tempting. This is going to be crucial for S7R. But again, they have to be safe about it. Around the outside, can they find a way, a passage? No, not quite. So they're going to have to sit behind a little bit longer and potentially just go for another overtake a little bit later. Again, it's all about the patience. There's no point going and being aggressive because your race isn't ending in an hour or 2. So that's all this is about. You can see the top 3 have broke apart, I believe, from P4 there. So that's now the gaps have definitely widened out a bit. Obviously, there's still the fight between P5 and P6. I don't want to cut away from it, but let's go check out the other gaps out. Not a lot considering there. There's also a battle. There we go. DMR and Grumpy and Johnny still battling together. But it's hard to say if they can't do anything about it. I'm just going to go back to the battle between Vigony and Vendi. I'm a little quiet. Hold on, give me a second. There's not much I could do about the volume, so I'm sorry if it's a bit quiet, but let me just see. Now, look at that, Vendi's had a really good exit off the corner. Now he just needs to slipstream and he needs to slingshot. The inside line is for Vigony here, so he is defending like a lion for the first few laps, but is Vendi gonna find a slot, a place? No. Again, it's the patience game. Yeah, everybody's saying it sounds okay, so I'm a bit confused, Nick. But sorry, guys, I'm sorry if it's a bit low, guys. That's my apologies. Yeah. Anyway, Aston Martin. Sorry, not Aston Martin. S7 now. Just playing the patience game here. It's better to just work together than fight, but that's not the case for Wendigo. Wendigo, great move, aggressive, but great move. And that's an overtake. P5, there we go. So now, I think it's the fight on, and now Wendigo has just got to catch up to Resistance here in the VRT team. If he sounds quiet, turn up your volume. Yeah, sorry again if it's low, because honestly, I don't know myself. It sounds okay from my side, but again, it's a bit confusing. I'm gonna stop rambling about it though. So Wendigo has got the overtake. Now, I think nailing the chicane is what he can do here. It's a good chicane. And look at the gap there, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. And that's exactly what Wendigo's needed. So Wendigo has got to close up the gap to VRT again. 2 seconds is the gap, and he needs to do that as soon as possible, as the gap between Resistance and the top 3 is breaking apart. You can see, obviously, the gap has spread out. Not a lot of fighting is going on in the top spots anymore. Let's go back to the battle between P11 and P10 as it's still going on. Gianni still trying to find a move on Grumpy. As, ooh, look, somebody goes off. That is Rafi. Rafi's just gone off into turn 1. Again, you can lose a lot of time into turn 1. And now, can Tintin get a move into there? There's a bit of contact between Grumpy and I think Grumpy and Gianni, but it's hard to say for sure. Tintin makes the move on Rafi. There we go, that's P8, and that mistake by Rafi has just cost him there. And that is not what you want. Again, you can lose a lot of time into turn 1. Turn 1 and the chicane is very crucial. So if you are going off into those corners, it is a lot of time lost for you. And that's not exactly what they wanted. Gianni still keeping up the pressure. And I was focused on these guys, but they did make a bit of contact going into turn 4. And that's not great to see. It's interesting if one of them have got damaged, but it looks like they're fine for now. It's not terrible, I think, but let's see here. Gianni again. Let's see if he can nail the chicane again. This is crucial for him to nail the chicane again and again and again. That's what he needs to do. And it's a pretty decent chicane there. Look at that. 3/10 instead of normal. And it should be enough for the Lexus to get a slingshot into turn 1. But again, it's hard to say for sure. Grumpy is going to have the inside line. Unless he's kept the door open. And he has kept the door open. Look at that. Gianni and it's got the inside line now, Gianni. Both of them going into side by side into turn 1. Who is going to outbrake? Gianni just outbreaks him and does get that move in the end. P10 for Gianni. And now he can chase Rafi and he can chase Tintin. Again, there's a good battle between the BMWs and RCFs, and this is exciting to see. Both cars, both very competitive cars, I should say, in this BOP, in this GT7 BOP. And it's delivering some really exciting racing here, and Split 2 is giving some really good quality entertainment. P4 is driving below the yellow lines apparently. It's interesting to see. Maybe the stewards are going to have to look at that. Speaking of, Wendigo has managed to close up the gap a little bit, as the gap is now gone from about 2 seconds to about 1.3. If you look at the lap times, he's gaining about 3/10 a lap. And that's exactly what S7R Phoenix need. And I think in a couple of laps, this should be good for Wendigo to approach resistance and make a potential move, but it's going to be hard to say for sure. As also, there's also now a fight and battle for the lead. Again, turn 1 being a very interesting spot and a very special place for overtaking. Ale has left the door open. Lame is going to get the inside line. Is he going to outbrake Ale? Ale just goes a bit wide, and that's given Lame the greatest opportunity, and that's Lame into P1. The Transatlantic Racing Team has gone into P1, and now they are leading the 24 Hours of Daytona. So we have a new race leader in the part of Transatlantic Racing. Now it's not over. Again, Slipstream plays a huge part into what you can expect in this race. So obviously, even though the cars and the drivers are gonna have to get away from each other, they also have to remember working together is always better than fighting and compromising and losing your time, and that's just something they need to know. So it will be interesting to see if anybody here can work together and just make sure they can just close up on the gap to the guys ahead. Gianni, like I was saying, Gianni is now on it. Gianni is on it from P10 here, and he's right on the back of Rafi here. Right, so it's gonna be interesting. Again, the chicane is the biggest part, and it's gonna be the biggest. It's gonna be the most important factor as to what you can do to get that slingshot into turn 1, and to get enough of a gap to just overtake the cars into turn 1. Look at that. Tintin doesn't have the greatest chicane there. It goes a bit wide a little. That's closed up the gap a bit, but it's not going to be enough, maybe. Yeah, that's 5/10. It's just not going to be enough of a gap for Raffi to make an overtake, so not a lot he could do about here. Gianni is closing up now on Raffi here. 2/10, 1/10, 150. Is he going to find an inside line? No, he just backs out of it. Look at that. He lets off the throttle there for a bit, as you can see by that gap there. There's, ooh! There might have been a bit of shoving there, but Raffi has got the overtake on Tintin. That's interesting to see. Tintin keeping the door wide open and then Raffi just sending it. I could not catch that on the camera, but that is an overtake for Raffi there. That was interesting. A bit argy-bargy, yeah, that's for sure. But it is really, really aggressive for Split 2 here. I think that's what we are going to expect. I think the stewards are going to have a very busy day at the office, to say the least. And yeah. But anyway, I believe right now, looking at the times and looking at the lap times here, Transatlantic Racing. Sorry, I can't, for my misspell there, mispronunciation, I should say, are building a gap from Infinite Octane. So Lame doing a great job into the 43s, and I think he is, yeah, I believe he's the only guy into the 43s so far. Let me check. Yeah, so I believe so, and that's great for what he's doing. Great lap times, consistently low 44s, and it's incredible to see what he's doing with the car he's been given and the job he has to do. As we say that, the gap has definitely widened out. Oh, look at that! PRT going extremely wide, and they've collided into the wall. And that's not great. That's damage. That's potential damage. And that is not potential. I believe that should be damage for PRT. That's not great. Oh, that's unfortunate to see there. That was PRT went from about P2 there to getting just going wide into turn 1, and then just not having the greatest momentum out of that corner there, and that's just cost them there. Unfortunate for them. It'll be interesting to see now how this affects their strategy, whether they would want to make a pit stop or not. While I drift away, let's go back to the battle here. And it's quite fierce battle. The gap is really close between all these guys here. Tintin has managed to find a way ahead of Raffi, and Gianni, look at that, Gianni's gonna go more aggressive. He's going side by side and goes past Raffi easily. And there, doesn't need to fight it out of the chicane, just gets it done before the chicane itself. And now, but he goes a little bit wider on the chicane there. That's gonna give Raffi a good exit, and that gives Raffi a great exit. Look at that. 1/10 is now 1/10 and 50 milliseconds is the gap between Raffi and Gianni. Weirdly enough, he's not going for the slipstream. I think it's better if he works together, but who knows. It's quite close here. This might be an opportunity into turn 1 if these guys want to be more aggressive. Not quite. I think, yeah, Raffi's backed off there. No unnecessary risks taken, and yeah, that's about it. And oh, again, Raffi goes off into turn 3, and that's given him a 5/10 penalty as well. The in-game penalty system working a bit weirdly there, but it is what it is, and that's given Raffi a 5/10 penalty. And that's not great for them. That's for sure. It's not. Yeah, it's hard to say what the game could do there, but that's just a bit silly from the game itself. But it's nothing they could do about it. That's given DMR and Grumpy a good, just easy pass, and that's them into P10 now. Right. So we go back into the battle between P4 and P5 here. Wendigo has closed up the gap a lot to Resistance here. So that gap has gone from a few laps ago, that gap was 2 seconds. And now that lap has approached into 2/10 now. And let's see, he's definitely going to go for a move, but it's interesting to see what he can do here. Resistance with an interesting line there, taking the yellow line. Is Wendigo going to send it into the inside? No, not quite. Wendigo not sending it there, just backs out a little, and again, it's better to stay calm and collected than fight and be aggressive, especially in a 24-hour race scenario. God, I think my throat is going to be sour with how much I'm commentating through these battles here, because honestly, it's crazy how many battles there are. You guys need to relax a little bit more. Oh, the battles, please. But either way, I'll fix my sore throat later, if I do get a sore throat at the end of this. But Resistance still managing to defend a bit, and Wendigo taking it a bit easy. Maybe it's potential for them to work together, but it's interesting to see what they could do in this scenario. Vigani looking, it's interesting what Vigani's done here. Obviously he's had the crash, and he did have damage potentially. By potentially, I mean he should have damage, but with that collision, which looked nasty there. But he's closed up the gap to MRL. MRL going for something around the outside here. Is he gonna back off though, or because he is now ahead of MRL, and that's just, yeah, MRL just backs off. They don't fight it, and that's easy overtake for PRT again. But now they're gonna have to look at their wing mirrors there. MRL right behind, so it's, again, even if you get it done at the chicane, you're always gonna have to worry about turn 1 for Daytona, and it is a very scary track indeed. You don't know what to expect, so always keep your wing mirrors in check. Apex Magnet in the MRL team going around the outside. Can they find it? Can they? But I think they're just gonna back off there. Yeah, Apex Magnet not going for it, and that's exactly what they need to do. And that's just gonna give them some breathing space. Forgot to commentate on this, but Wendigo has also made the overtake on Resistance. Could not find coverage of this, but he has done it, and now he's gonna have to go and chase after the top 3. And looking at his pace, it could be potential, it could be possible, but he is definitely gonna have to push to close up that 11.6 second gap. 11.6 second gap, yeah. Speaking of closing the gaps, Mordo has also closed up the gap a bit. Just Infinite Octane with Ale, just losing a bit of time to them in the past few laps, and that's closed up the gap. But it's going to be hard for the Porsche to make an overtake or find an overtake. Again, Porsche is one of the more slower cars on the straight line. Again, very low horsepower and MR, so it's not the greatest option for Daytona. However, the Sector 1 and Sector 2 is very great for the Porsche, so it's going to be interesting to see how much can it really close up. And lap time wise, Mortal isn't doing really bad. Mortal is doing really good either. Really good also. I keep stuttering, I'm sorry. But it's going to be interesting to see where he can find the overtake. But he has definitely got to close up more of the gap as much as possible. All the time he can find will be in these 2 sectors here. That's for sure though. Let's go back, hit further down the grid. Let's see if there are any remaining more battles left for me to see. There is obviously still the battle between P10 and P11, which is interesting. Just normal for just a bit of fighting going on here, and that's pretty interesting to see how it's going on. Let's have a look at the back of the grid. I've not been commentating on this, but Hansa, I believe he has damage obviously from that that lap 1 crash, which was just unfortunate, and that's not exactly what he wanted. But I think he's doing a great job driving with that damage. He's not done a few mistakes, not done minimal. He's just keeping it minimal mistakes, and he's doing a good job himself. TT Ghost has closed up a lot of that gap. I believe they have made a pit stop, and they have closed up the gap to Race Asylum. So Tentance and Race Asylum could be battling at any moment, but something to note is that, as Maz goes a bit off there, and again, I think they've also had a bit of an incident, or maybe they've gone for a really early pit stop. It's hard to say for sure. Yeah. Speaking of pit stops, I believe for the softs, hard for me to say here because the strategies can differ, but the pit window should be open, or will be open very soon. It's about lap 20, and they are approaching about the 40-minute mark for the race. And if you're going for a two-stopper, it might be what you need, and it's probably what the strategy you're going to go for. As, ooh, look at that, a bit of battling here between Ali and Mortal. They're going side by side into this corner. Is Mortal going to outbreak him? He is, just gets the inside line and makes it easy. Just defends the overtake, and he's fine for now. He has to watch out for afterwards from the chicane. I'm just going to take a quick moment to read all the comments in the chat here. Porsche's livery is good. Yeah, I have to agree. I have not complimented the liveries yet, but the liveries in Stint 2 here, not Stint 2, Split 2 here, are really good looking here, I will admit. I love the design of the V2 esports cars and the transatlantic cars, that's for sure. It's just quite amazing. Right. So again, not much battling now going on, as gaps have definitely widened out right now. Mortal just P2 right now, and Alia right behind him, obviously still in that striking distance. It's the objective of Mortal to just make as much of a gap as possible from P3 and just cruise away. Can you turn race details on? No, I can't. I don't know if I can, but yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to turn it on. If I was, then I might have. Yeah, Nick's saying no, I can't turn on race details, unfortunately. Thank you for the confirmation, Nick. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you can't see it. It would be great for the teams if you could see it, but unfortunately not. You're just gonna have to judge it by what happens on the stream instead, innit? Don't crash, yeah. Right. So lane, only P5. So again, also, right, so as I was saying, pit windows should be opening soon. And again, like I said, if you are on the two-stopper with the soft tires, you should be going and you should be pitting around at the 40-minute mark. And as you can see on the bottom left corner, you can see we are approaching that 40-minute mark. Obviously, this does include the formation lap, but it is very close, and it will happen very soon. We have seen that in Split 1, fortunately, so these teams quite have somewhat of an idea of what they want to do and what they really want to do exactly with the strategies here. They have taken in the inspiration. It's going to be interesting to see how this works out, obviously. But hey, I mean, some teams are going to go a bit ambitious. We might see a one-stop maybe, but it depends on how the tires really last. So I guess for the guys that are really good on the tires, maybe it's possible. But hey, we're just going to have to see. We're just going to have to wait and see, really. I will admit, the Porsche is looking very competitive more than anything, and I think that's probably just because of the drivers as well, pushing the hell out of that car. Porsche doesn't have the greatest straight line speed, but it's doing very well in Daytona. I think that's definitely because of the Sector 1 and Sector 2 helping it a lot there. Like what, and drivers like Mortal are taking advantage of that. The gap has widened out between him and Ale, between 1 second now. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. It's gonna be interesting to see if there's gonna be an undercut into play or something. And also fuel. We should also take fuel into account, because again, if you're not fuel saving in these circumstances, you're just gonna get overtaken into the pits at some point, and that's not great, because then you're not gonna have enough of a gap to get the slipstream again. Tintin with a 5 cents penalty, and that's gonna put him under danger from Gianni, potentially. And I should probably not move away, but I think Gianni's just gonna get the overtake easy. Yep, does into turn 1, no pressure. I should also commentate Resistance Eater going in for his pit stop at lap 23, so that's a bit more earlier than some cars, and he's just going for an undercut. No refuel, just tires, and that's gonna bring him out into P11. So it's interesting what the strategy. Also, it's gonna be interesting to see how the strategy plays out for VRT here. Obviously, the undercut can be powerful. We have seen that in many circumstances. Tintin has managed somehow to overtake Gianni again. I think Gianni's just made a mistake someplace, and Tintin's just capitalized over it, and he's doing a good job himself. Just relaxing and staying in the P7, staying exactly where he needs to be. PRT with I think that's damage with PRT for the PRT at this. Even with damage, they are having a really good pace, and yeah, I don't think PRT could ask anything more from Vigini here. He's doing a very amazing job. Joshua, yeah, I've never done commentary. I've done a bit of commentary before, Joshua, but I'm a bit experienced when I'm come to this aspect. Like, I've done like 1 or 2 races. I just want to know a bit of feedback from the chat. How are you guys liking this commentary? How are you guys loving it? Do it more? I wish. Is the guy commentating Luigi? Yeah, it is. Hey Brian, good to see you here, mate. Oh no. Hello Brian. Hello Seth. Loving it. Thanks. That's good to hear, Luke. Dude, you're doing a hell of a good job. Thank you so much, Joshua. Holy yapper, Sean. Sure. Mate, I have to do commentary. Of course I'm gonna yap. Anyway. Thank you for the feedback, guys. I appreciate it. Obviously I do talk a lot, but it's my job, so it is what it is. Right. So let me just look back at see. We've got to sing a song though. I think that's Jaeger's job, to be fair. So maybe if Jaeger wants, I'll hop in one of Jaeger's commentary booths, and I'll sing a song with him. No, Brian, no, I'm not. I don't race in this race. I'm just commentating for this race here and just doing Stint 1 and Stint 12 commentary. Please, no Jaeger singing. Maybe I'll sing a song, maybe not. But that's for later. Transatlantic Racing coming into the pits. Same thing with PRT and same thing with MRL. So they're making their designated pit stops. Bummer. Yeah, I know. I'll drive later. That's for later on. Transatlantic Racing coming out of the pits. New tires again. Just a bit of a refuel as well. They've just come out a little bit ahead, if I'm not wrong.
wrong. Yeah, they've come out in a safe spot. Nothing crazy. No traffic ahead of them, no traffic behind them. PRT, pit stop, refuel as well. See, interesting. So no fix for damage there, so I don't think they've got damage, which is interesting. They're just doing a great job. Otherwise, Resistance should get a good undercut. Good point. Where is Resistance? Resistance P5 there. So that he's somehow done a great undercut. Surprisingly enough, he's ahead of S7R, who just made the pit stop as well. The undercut has worked numbers for VRT there. Now he's ahead by Wendigo by 1.5 seconds. That's really good and that's exactly what VRT needed, I believe. And yeah, I think the undercut just worked out for him, which is interesting to see. I think a lot of teams are going to take note of that, maybe see what they could do potentially. Mortal has gone a bit longer and he's pitting lap 25, however. He was fighting with Ale here, so let's see where he's going to come out in this battle. Yeah. Hard to say for sure, though. He's going to go into the pits and he is going to go and get a fresh change of tires. Believe that he should also get a refuel looking at his fuel percentage, but it's hard to say for sure how many liters he could get. I think also something that helped Resistance out here is the fact that he didn't refuel as much or even as much as the other cars would. Actually, the fact is he didn't even fuel up at all, so Resistance, he's having that advantage with the Lexus. Yeah, as Nuke says in the chat, he's having the advantage with the Lexus of just having great fuel consumption, and that's giving him the choice. Tintin, Moto just going to get a little bit ahead of Tintin, pushes him out of the way by a bit, just a little bit of contact, but nothing crazy. And now he's going to have to chase down Ale again. Obviously, I think Ali's just benefited from that undercut, and Mortal didn't again have as much. He had to fuel up a lot more than the Lexus would have, and that's cost him there. And again, there's not a lot you can do. The Lexus is just really good on fuel consumption. Since then, going for the one stop, that's a good point. We have not, from what we are seeing right now, it's hard to say for sure. But I think one stop is not out of the play yet from some teams here. It's not a strategy that has been considered a lot, but in Split 1, and that's what's the case and scenario, and that's why some teams have not gone, and some teams have not experimented it, really. But if it is true that he is going for a one stop, yes, he's got past Mortal again. This Mortal's got a 5/10 penalty, which is unfortunate for him. But if he is going for a one-stop, it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. It's interesting. It would, be more than interesting, I'd say. Might be the best play. It's hard to say for sure. But you never know, really, in this case and scenario. As, again, Mortal just going to have to find a way past Tintin. Same overtake, same corner where he made the overtake last lap, he's going to make the overtake again. Tintin isn't going to fight it. He knows what battles he's going to want to pick out, and this is not one of them. Just lets him go, and yeah, all is well. But he's definitely widened out that gap between Ale and him again, so he's going to have to do a bit more he's going to play catch up now. Get P2, and if you can get P2, then that just opens up a lot of opportunities for V2 there. Meanwhile, I should also say, let's pinpoint back to Resistance, and the VRT team, who've done a great strategy again. Just commented on it earlier, but I should say the undercut plus the fuel-saving strategy in the slipstream, just fuel-saving the slipstream, has worked out wonders because they've made a lot. They've just overtaken S7R, and now they're back in the play, and now they're fighting for potentially P2, depending on how well the pace is, how well they do themselves. So that's really good that's a really, really good scenario, and that's really good for VRT there. And that's going to give them a good opportunity to just close up the gap, see what he can do, see what Resistance can do. And look at that! Look at what Resistance can do. They makes a bit of contact, but oh, Resistance and Mortal go side by side almost into turn 2 and turn 3. Is Resistance gonna send it up on the inside? No. On turn 4? No, he doesn't. He just backs out of it. But it was a very, very humongous lunge there and just makes contact on the bumper of Mortal. So just a tiny bit of contact. Backs out of it, thankfully. So it's nothing crazy. And I don't think the stewards... And I think it's just a bit of fair play. But now the pressure for Mortal is on. Resistance has picked up a lot of pace, and that's gonna bring him into the fight. Definitely, that's definitely gonna bring him into the fight anytime soon. Yeah, it's interesting tactics, but let's see how this goes on. Obviously, VRT now have the advantage of the slipstream. Resistance has the advantage of the slipstream of the Porsche. Porsche doesn't have great straight line speed, so he's going to benefit of this, and maybe even fuel save here. Fuel save work together because there is 100% the case that Mortal can be quicker than Ale. Now he just needs to close up the gap. Mortal feeling a bit of the pressure here, and that's just causing him to not have just losing him a lot of time to Ale there. Speaking of Ale, he's done a new personal best, and he's closed up the gap to Lane quite a little bit, just a little bit. You can see that in terms of the difference between lap times. Obviously, Lane doing an incredible job still with those consistent 44s, and Lane is playing a bit of catch up now. I think he's starting to pick up the pace. This is the stage of the race where all the pressure is now pretty much settled out. From the race start, from the first 25 laps, whatever pressure you have, it's gone. Now you can push. Now you've done exactly what the team's asked for, and just drove the car. And now you can push, do whatever you want. Well, do whatever you want except crashing. That's for sure. But yeah, it's interesting to see which drivers are gonna play the best on the situation in their hands. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting next few 40 minutes, potentially, for the guys, well, who are going to do a two-stopper, that's for sure, which is half the grid, I think. That's, I think, all the grid that's made a pit stop so far, except Tintin, who's not pitted yet, which is interesting. Again, I should point that out. I think if he's going to pit at about the lap 33, lap 34, lap 35 mark, that's definitely confirmed for a one-stopper. But it's hard to tell. Is he even on the softs? That is good. That is hard to say. Where's the Porsche in P3? Where is the Porsche? Oh no. Oh no. Looking at the sector times, the Porsche in P3, just Mortal has just made a mistake. Oh, they've hit the invisible wall. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's not what V2 esports needed. Oh, yeah, like I said, the pressure is still on in these scenarios, and that's not exactly what you wanted. That's unfortunate for them. I think that's just going to be potential damage as well if they have hit that wall. Yeah, it's now their job to just drive. It's now Mortal's job to just drive out these next few laps and just drive, do the job he needs to do, because that's unfortunate to see. Everyone's prone to these mistakes, and that's unfortunate to see there. That's definitely put him out of the fight for P2 now. And Ale is now going to have a safe and comfortable gap. Tintin holding up these guys behind. Wendigo has also found a way ahead of Resistance, which is good to see. Now, can he find a way ahead of Tintin there? Ooh, bit a bit too close for comfort there into the chicane, but nothing crazy, that's for sure. Wendigo just falling up. Can the 7.5 Phoenix team find something here? It might be 3 wide, it could be 3 wide. Resistance also has the slipstream. Is he gonna go inside? Oh no. No, but he bump drafted him instead, so that's a great and smart move by Resistance. He's bump drafted Tim 10, and then he's got past Wendigo in that process, and that's made him get past Tim 10 in that process. Great move, and that's 2 positions gained by Resistance, and that's a really smart play. Tim 10's gone off a bit. Ooh, a slide. That was really close for Tim 10. Manages to save it somehow. It's just a great job by Tintin there, just great save there, and that's caused him to be, well, P5 now, and that's lost him 2 positions there. We see yellow flags. Who is this for yellow flags? Weird why we saw yellow flags there, but oh well. Resistance with a great and a really smart move by there, pushing Tintin on the bump draft, and then going and then sending a move on the inside of his angle, and then that just gives him 2 positions at once. That was a really smart play, and you know, it's not what you expect in Split 2, but my god, that was something incredible, that's for sure. Anyway, Wendigo, now he's gonna have the job to chase after and find a place to get the Resistance again, because again, that was not what Wendigo needed. Obviously Wendigo might have just gone a bit too aggressive there, and that's not for his liking, but again, he has the pace and he can definitely fight Resistance if it counts on it. Tintin goes a bit wide, and I think he's just losing grip on his tires now. It's not great. Yellow flag, and that's somebody spun out. That's TT Ghost. Oh, TT Ghost has spun out there into the turn 1. I think he spun out or crashed, and that's unfortunate. It's now bare last for the 10-10 team. It's not great. It's not the start they would have wanted, that's for sure. But again, there is 23 hours left in this race. Anything can happen, and they can definitely climb back the order. Let's have a look at what the pack behind are doing for a second. Maz, not having the cleanest, not having the greatest as well, but he's just driving, and he knows he has the job to do, and he's just driving, and yeah, I think that's all his team could ask for him, and that's just to drive the car and keep it clean, and that's exactly what the job he's doing, and that's exactly what his team needs. He is gonna get lapped though by Lane, so so that's interesting to see. We are already getting a few blue flags already, and about an hour into the race. Mass is gonna have to yield for those blue flags. Definitely. It's interesting to see how he yields. Yep, he yields right before turn 1. Very clean. Gets the job done. Good stuff by Mass there. Hansa has been a bit on it, really. Look at that. If you're looking at the lap times, 44s, 45s, doing a clean job, and a clean job is all he could do. And I think that's exactly all Race Asylum could ask from him. You can't help but love it. I think it's just going to be comeback. It was an upset into lap 1, but now all Hansa can do is just fight, and all the Race Asylum team can do is just fight, and just get back, and just, and they can just claw it back. Again, 23 hours there's 23 hours left, and anything can happen. That's for sure. And again, we should have also another look at V2. They have pit for damage, and that is not exactly what Motor needed, but it's just going to be a fight back, and it's going to be full push for him up to here. And once you get into those moments, sometimes you just got to activate your focus and just, hammer it down. And that's exactly what I think V2 needs from him, and I think that's exactly what he can do anyway. We know he's quick, and we know he can do something, and something insane and amazing. So let's see what he can do in this scenario. Then we've got P8 to P10. Grumpy, Janny, and Rafi still fighting. Funnily enough, so that 4-car pack has turned into a bit of a 3-car pack. No idea where the other BMW went. I think that was Rad. Sorry, no, Rad. Yeah, yeah. Rad is obviously hasn't hit it yet, so that's caused an. Oh, that's another spin for TT. Oh, that's just unfortunate to see. Again, they have to pick it back up, and yeah, that's unfortunate to see. That's not what they would have wanted. Again, they have to just pick themselves back up. These 3 guys have been fighting all race. These guys have been fighting all race. Oh, and we've seen Rafi hit the invisible wall as well. Then, so 2 incidents in about a span of half a lap I've just seen there. Rafi hit the invisible wall, and that invisible wall just catches you out, and that's not what you want. Yeah, I think that is definitely going to be damaged, and that annoying invincible wall is just yeah, you can't do much about it. It's just really, really annoying. I think we've got 2 or 3 cars that have been caught out by it already. You just gotta stay cautious for these corners. Daytona is a very, very tricky track in this scenario. That's definitely also put him out of the battle for P9, P10 here. Which I was about to say, these 3 cars, well, now about 2, have been fighting for a good 35 laps, and it's quite incredible to see what's been happening, really. Obviously, it is giving me a bit of entertainment as well. It's giving the viewers a bit of entertainment. I know the viewers had a lot of entertainment at the race start with all the chaos happening at the start, and it was quite intense and quite serious to see. But now, even still, when the race has settled down, these guys have still been fighting. These guys have still kind of been working together, kind of. Yeah, I think that's just what keeping them big intent. They're doing that while keeping it clean, and I think that's what their teams are asking for, and that's, I think, what their teams need. I think they're getting a lot of support from their teams themselves, and it's great to see them still battling in this scenario. There's nothing much you could ask from them. Nothing much you could else ask, and if you can fast forward ahead and see how the battle between P3 and P4 is going on. Resistance and Wendigo, they have been keeping a steady gap. Resistance with a personal best 44.5 is exactly what VRT is asking for, and that's exactly what VRT is asking for. If you look at that lap times, it looks like Alain must have hit a wall or something, because he's had a lap time of 48.8, 46.2, and then 46.2. It's not the greatest lap times. It's not great at all. That's just causing him to lose a lot. That's just caused him to lose a lot of time from the pack, and that's caused Resistance and Wendigo to catch up. Obviously, these two guys have been really close all race long, and yeah, it's really, all 3 of these guys have been doing a great job themselves this stint. Obviously, Wendigo not having the greatest start on the lap 1, but he's managed to claw back, and he's now in the fight for P2, which is exactly what S7R Phoenix is asking for, and that's exactly what S7R Phoenix really needs now going into this race. You can see, even if some teams have not had the pace, they've just kept it clean, and that's what the teams are pretty much asking for. That's given them the benefit of everything. Rick has said, thank you for streaming. No worries, Rick. Good to see you here, mate. And great to see you supporting Rad Racing Team. I also want to ask a question. I wonder what... Nah, that's a bit stupid to ask this question, but I wonder what Rad means. If Rad even has a full form or whatever. Basina Calder in this chat as well. Hello, Pasti. Good to see you here, mate. Aye. We owe Loogie for a drink. Yeah, you could owe me a coffee, please, because honestly, I have a very sore throat from commentating the first few laps. And I think my voice is a bit deafening out a little bit. Oh well. So yeah, it's a bit. So you can see now Resistance just having just overtook Ali there. Sorry if I couldn't commentate on that. And Bendigo's having a shot at it as well. Both of these guys just pickpocketing Ali like he's a celebrity out of the window, and P2 and P3 for Bendigo and Resistance there. And that's caused, and that's put exactly what a position which VRT really needs. It's insane how much of a great job these two are doing. Wendigo is slightly about 2/10 quicker than Resistance here, and he is closing up the gap, and it is going to be interesting to see how this is going to go, and this is how interesting to see how this is really going to form up or add up, really. Hard to say what Wendigo could do here. Resistance is just 2/10 ahead, and 3/10 is a scary gap going into turn one, going into the straight. Both Aston Martins and RCF are really similar on top speed and straight line speed, and the opportunity for those two cars are just for them to battle each of their own. And now I think that is exactly what's going to happen. Wendigo around the outside, he's going to go for something aggressive here for Resistance. He's going to take the inside line, he's going to defend into turn one. Manages to just defend very nicely there. Wendigo backs off, knows he can't fight that. And Wendigo! Great save by Wendigo. Just almost going into the wall and narrowly missing out. That's great save by him. That was really close, and however, that's just lost him about 1.7 seconds to Resistance there, and that's not what he needs. But now's the task for him to claw back that gap again and then go for it again. Resistance, he just has a job now, and that's to attack. Well, not attack, but just defend Wendigo as much as he can and just pressure to make mistakes like he did on that scenario. But it's hard to say. So we will see a battle between here. It's going to be between who's quicker. The consistency of these drivers are going to come into play. And it will go down to the wire, I think, down to the... I think there's a reason why VRT have definitely put out a driver like Resistance in this Stint 1. And from my experience, I do know Resistance is a very, very, very good driver when it comes to defending positions, when it comes to attacking positions. He's that type of driver that can just hold your position as much as he can. He's basically like the Fernando Alonso when it came to Hungary in 2021. He's that type of driver, and I think that's what they needed. That's what VRT really needed. It's just get a stable job into Stint 1, and then they can just pick it up and then pull away, and potentially catch up to Transatlantic. And speaking of Transatlantic, they're doing a flawless job here. Still consistent 44s, and the gap is now 20 seconds. Question is, how much more bigger can you make it? Any predictions in the chat for how much bigger they could make it looking at this pace? Because looking at that, seeing how it's almost an hour and 10 minutes into the race is already a 21-second gap. PRT and DMR, sorry, not DMR, Rad, going at it now. Rad still holding on very nicely indeed, but Rad have not made a pit stop still. So that's interesting to see what type of strategy Rad really is doing here. It's quite interesting for us to say for sure. Obviously we don't have any insights, but if they were going for the one stop, they would have definitely pit maybe at the 35 lap mark, but they have not pitted at the 35 lap mark. They've gone even longer, and that's affecting their lap times a lot. They're into the 45s, 46s, and they're getting caught up by the rest of these guys here. However, they're still keeping a really good and stable job, no matter the case. Tintin has just had a really good run out of the chicane, but I think he's just going to have to hold it, and he's just going to bump draft PRT instead, which is great to say, because you don't really want to fight cars that you're not colliding strategy. You don't really want to fight cars and hurt what your goal is in the strategy, and you don't want to hurt how much time you're losing. So that's good to see for these two teams here. And yeah, it's interesting to see what type of strategy Rad is definitely going for. It's gonna be unique. It's not anything what any other people or guys have seen so far. They still have the really good gap between the cars they were fighting against. They have about 10 or so seconds, I'd say, like about 15 or so seconds, I think. And that's what causing them to maybe in their mind a strategy could work, but it's definitely hard to say for sure. Even on those mediums, they should probably. I think they definitely do have the mediums on. I think if they do, then that's the pace they've had on mediums. It's just very lightning. Yeah, there's nothing much they can do in this scenario when they've got worn out tires. It's just the fact to hold on, do your laps, and stay in the slipstream of some cars that are just going to benefit you, and you can fuel save also, which is an added bonus. So it's good to see how they're doing in this scenario, and they've been one of the more better teams when it comes to overtaking, I'd say. Other else, we're still highlighting the battle between Wendigo and Resistance. Wendigo, from the near miss that he had going a few laps in, I think that was lap 38, has clawed back up the gap really easily, and that's causing him to catch up to Resistance now. But it's quite interesting to see what really Resistance can do holding on. It's going to be hard to hold on for sure for about, let's say, we have about 25 laps remaining. Not 25 laps remaining, sorry, 30 laps remaining, somewhat about that scenario. It's quite of a hard task to ask a driver, any driver in that case, to ask them to hold on for that amount of time or that amount of period. But Resistance is just doing the job, and Wendigo is just doing the job as 7 armies of attacking and having that insane pace. Should still do. It's not much else that's going on really, apart from the constant battle between P10 and P9, but that gap is also starting to widen out there. Gianni just having a good momentum out, and he's just cruising for now. I think both these cars are just cruising and just doing the job they need to do. Gianni, in the Speed Buddy racing car, just easy through there, and they're just doing clean, consistent laps, which is exactly what their team needs, and there's nothing more you can ask for them. Mortal is absolutely on it when it came from the mistake that they had made a few laps prior, and that's very, very nice to see for the V2 Esports team from that mistake, just clawing back. If you're looking at their lap times, just consistent 44s, and that's exactly what you want. And that's pretty much, is that matching the leader's pace? That's pretty much matching the leader's pace, if not quicker, and that's really good for that team. And yeah, there's nothing much you could ask from that scenario and from that team itself. As I should say, LA is coming in for a pit stop for fresh new tires, fresh new softs, and this should be his final pit stop, going till the end of the race. Well, not the end of the race. Obviously, he doesn't have to drive 22 hours, but the end of the stint, I should say. He's done a really good job so far. I think refuel, new tires, new fuel, and thus he's gonna have to go for it and just push till the end and give the team exactly what they want. Let's go back. Let's see how Hansa's doing here. Hansa, consistent 44, 45s, 46s. He's doing a good job as well. I think the RA team is pretty happy with what he's doing, what he's accomplishing so far, even with the lap one, obviously, I should say. First start, he's just made no mistakes, kept it consistent in terms of lap times, and he's doing exactly the job he needs to do. I think Ray will be really, really happy. Ray and Nick will be really, really happy with the job here. Yeah, there's nothing much you could ask for it. Meanwhile, Yanni and Grumpy still battling on this occasion. Still 2/10 is the gap, and looking at the lap times, their tires are starting to wear out really badly here. And it's interesting to see how this is going on. And I should say the slipstream aspect of this stint here, especially it being such an early stint, is making it a great race in terms of battling and overtaking with what we've seen. So obviously that's the case and factor there. Daytona is a very special track where you're only going to see these types of overtaking spots. You're only going to see these types of fighting and battling on this occasion as well. And sometimes maybe if drivers want to be aggressive, they can overtake Sector 1, Sector 2, or something. But again, there's no point going that aggressive because, again, Turn 1, chicane is always a good spot. Well, not that chicane if you're going to send it. But yeah, definitely. That's still somewhat of a decent battle going on. Gianni not having the greatest run out of the chicane, and that's caused Grumpy to be a bit more closer. Again, needing the slipstream. I think both of these guys are just gonna relax, save the fuel, save the tires, and be fine. And we are seeing something interesting here. Tin 10 are finally coming in for their first pit stop. So they have drank out all of their fuel. Their tires, pretty much, I think I should say shot, but not really shot. But well, they need a rest. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to put them on. I think it's going to be a new set of softs. It's going to be interesting to see what tires they could go on here. Interesting strategy by Tin 10. Let's see if it plays off here though. Yeah, fuel up. And this is pretty much exactly on the same timing as the pit window for the two stoppers. Softs, yep, softs. Interesting in terms of the strategy. So has Rad cracked the code in terms of the strategy? Who knows? I can't tell you, because I don't know. We might have to just find out at the end of the stint. Obviously, as well as the fact that everyone has still not made their pit stops yet. And we have also not seen how their pace really is on the softs as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. And I think I should also say the pit window for the two stoppers are going to be open. It's going to be open pretty soon enough. I think there was somebody going wide there. Don't remember. I think that somebody saw on GT7 camera angle, not catching it, unfortunately. But yeah, as I should say, the pit window for the two stopper strategy is open, or should be open, very very soon. It should be interesting. It should be interesting to see what goes on, what doesn't go on. That's also to say that I wonder what the strategy is going to be for these top teams here, these teams that they have the gap very close. You know, are they going to go for an undercut, overcut? You know, they've also had to go and save fuel also, you know, to help them in the pit stops, because otherwise you just, you know, it's Daytona and you're going to gain a lot of time in terms of just saving fuel and just coasting, lifting whenever you want, wherever you want, especially if you're in battles like you are in Stint 1. Wendigo's just had a 1 second penalty, and that's out of the chicane. Again, chicane is very tricky to get right, and that's not what SMR needs in that scenario. Just a little bit of pressure is put onto Wendigo to get that P2. But again, I think SMR has already asked him quite literally of everything that he needs to do, and there's not much he can do anyway. I think even if he gets the car, brings the car in P3 here, well, it depends if he gets the car in P3. I think S7R is going to be happy. They should be happy. I don't know, you tell me, Nuke, but that's for me to say later. I should also say, Just Moto has caught up to the MRL car, Apex Magnet, doing consistent lap time, just doing a clean lap times. Nuke's happy, that's good to know. I'm happy that you're happy, which is a bit weird to say that, but I'm happy that you're happy. But anyway, Apex Magnet for the MRL team, doing just clean lap times. And yeah, they're doing a good job for now. But now they have the pressure of Just Moto right behind them, V2 right behind them. Is it going to be round the outside? Is it going to be switch back? Oh, it's just going to be round the outside. Gets a bit squirrely on the exit. Apex Magnet closes the gap out a little bit, but it's not going to be enough, I think. Depends. The GTR may have the better straight line speed going in. Apex Magnet getting the slipstream also, but I don't think there's going to be a send into the chicane necessarily. Mortal doing a very, very good comeback, going from pretty much like P12, P11 back to the top 5 now. Again, being even quicker than the leader is something crazy, that's for sure. Now we should go back into the top, into P2 and P3. Let's go back to their fight, because they have been raging on ever since the race started. Resistance comes into the pits, has 2 liters of fuel, and Wendigo has drained out that tank as well. It's gonna be a little bit of time, very little bit of time that Resistance is gonna gain through the pit stop, thanks to him having 2 liters extra, which means he has to fuel a tiny bit less than Wendigo. But regardless, it's a good job. Resistance has done exactly the job BRT is asking for. But now that they've made their pit stops at the same mark, they can have the same tire condition, I should say. It's going to be basically a dogfight till the end to see who triumphs here, who gets a better fight here. And this is interesting to see how much time the Lexus has gained in the pits compared to the Aston here. We should look at it. Aston had fueled up and only had about 2 liters less, and now the gap had increased by about 3 seconds. it tells you exactly what you need to know about the fuel consumption of cars like the Lexus compared to the cars like the Aston Martin. And that's why I think the Aston Martin is one of the favorites, if not basically the most favorite car in the entire grid in Split 2 and even Split 1, we should say. It's just the fuel consumption and even the tire wear of the car in some aspects. It's just, and the pace and the overall raw pace is great for the car, and you can gain a lot of time in the pit stops. Yeah, there's not much you need in that, and the Lexus does a great job in being a good all-rounder, especially with the calendar we have right now. Unless if I see it getting a BOP nerf, I don't think the Lexus might be switched out by some teams yet because of how good of a car it is. But either way, just Mortal comes in for a pit stop, changes his tires. Obviously, that's interesting. That's a bit early for Mortal there, but I think he's just not going to risk it. He pits in for his designated stop. So does MRL for Apex Magnets. Gianni comes into the pits for Speed Buddy Racing, and DMR comes into the pits lane as well for new fresh tires. And also Hansa's also made a stop. I should cover that. Goes a bit wide though. I think that's going to be a penalty for Hansa, unfortunately, unless he's got that perfectly timed. Oh no penalty. 10-10 Racing 44-9. They're getting the pace back together, and they are doing a good job now. They're getting their feet back together, and they should be on a comeback very, very soon with their pace right now, quicker than majority of these cars. Yeah, and it's exactly what Tentance is asking for. From Ghost. Maz keeping it clean for now. Again, there's not much you can do, but again, it's a 23-hour race. It's a 24-hour race. Sorry, it's not 23 hours. I should say 24-hour race. Anything can happen in the scenario. Disconnects, crashes, fatigue, literally anything I could name of happening, and it's not uncommon for it to happen. I should say, it's really, really common. But otherwise, if you look at that, Mortal, I think that's Mortal just easily coming out, overtaking Tintin easily. Tintin and Mortal a bit close together. But how are their lap times looking like? Tintin is doing a good job in terms of lap times, 44.7 by Tintin. He's going to find a way around the outside here, maybe. The fight is on because he is on the softs. He is fighting for position here. Goes around the outside, gets the move easily from Mortal, which is interesting. I think Team RAD has now picked up the pieces, and now they're going to go on a charge. But again, he has to defend the inside line because the job isn't done yet. Mortal is going to have to come back. The Porsche is really good on the exit. Let's go on board with the Porsche. Mortal right on the back. He's going to have the slipstream. This is a position where Mortal did his overtake a long time ago on the same scenario. Goes wide. Oh, goes wide, and and Tintin has done a great switchback, and that's given him the position for P6. Wow. And Mortal just misjudged that, and that's exactly what he didn't need. But he is going to have an opportunity again. Don't worry about it. Even if you lose one opportunity, you'll get it back again. 2/10 is the gap. Again, Daytona is very forgiving when it comes to making mistakes sometimes, because you can always have the slipstream, you can always come back, and you'll always be in a fight, as long as you have the pace. And Mortal just right on the back of 10-10. It'll be interesting to see how the straight line speed performance of the Porsche is going to be against the BMW. Definitely. It's not good enough though, because I think, unfortunately, I think the BMW just edges out the Porsche when it comes to overall straight line speed. As you can see, gap was about 4 or so tenths, and Mortal did not do anything about that. And that's, oh no! But now he can do something about it. Tintin just goes wide, and Mortal is now side by side almost in going into turn 4. He's gonna wait it out though. He's gonna wait, and he's gonna wait for the momentum to get a good exit. And he does get a good exit. 2/10 is the gap now from him and Mortal. Let's go on board. Let's see the chase cam here. Is it gonna be a send again? Potentially. He goes side by side again, not quite of a send, but they're both gonna give themselves good enough racing room, good enough space, side by side. Still here, going into the left-hander. No, I think he's just gonna have to back out of it, going in, knowing there's a chicane ahead. So he's just gonna wait it out and wait for the chicane. Nothing he can do against nothing he can do against in this scenario, realistically speaking. He's just, I think Mortal has just got to wait it out. Rad with some incredible pace, fighting one of the fighting someone who's basically having the similar pace as the leaders, basically, and I think Rad is Team Tintin is doing exactly what Rad is asking for, and he goes a bit squarely on the exit there. He goes a bit sideways, but nothing crazy, and he still has enough of a gap to hold on to turn 1, I think. So nothing. I don't. If I can move away for a bit, because I can see there's maybe a battle going on there. No, not really. There's a lapped car. That's not a battle. That's a lapped car. I should pay more attention. See if there any more battle going on. TT has got a penalty there. Hansa is closing up a bit of the gap to Rafi there. P11. Obviously, still a lot of there's still a job for him to do. I think if Hansa can get P11 here with Race Asylum in a good spot for the next few stints, being ahead of Rafi, because that team is definitely very good in defending and very aggressive in defending and overtaking, I should say. So it will be a bit of a hard and a bit of a stretch to see if they can get past them in the next few stints. But if they can, I think that's exactly what Race Asylum needs. But let's see, because the pace is very good from Hansa from that for now. He's gained about a second a lap there from the last lap there. Battle between the track isn't strongest for the GTR. I should say there's some I should say cars are not really necessarily strong. BMW and the Porsche being one, but I think what makes it up for the Porsche is the fact that the Sector 1 and Sector 2 is amazing for the Porsche, and you can just make up all the time you lose at the chicane and the straight line. And unfortunately, if you're looking at that, Mortal is losing a lot of time to Tintin there, and that's unfortunate to see. Tintin is pretty happy for this, but no, he goes a bit wide again. It's not the most consistent laps. He's quick, but he's not very consistent there, and that's giving exactly what Mortal needs. That was really close between Mortal and Tintin there. That could have been almost contact and sent Tintin a bit sideways there. Luckily, no contact. But that has closed up the gap by a lot. And this is what I meant. I think Tintin just has the pace, but it's just the consistency what he needs in this scenario to get away from Mortal and to catch up to the PRT team. For Mortal and Tintin can fight the PRT team, as they are lapping quicker than the PRT team for now. But it's really hard to say for sure. Because at any point, at any given moment, they could pick up their pace. It all depends on how much pressure and how you mentally are on the track, if that makes sense. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I think it would be best in this scenario for them, both of these guys, just to work together, not fight, don't go aggressive, work together, guys, and then you can get PRT, and then the battle's on till the end of the stint. We could see something intense going on, and that would just be a great finisher to the end of the stint. A very dramatic one, I should say. It would be very entertaining for the viewers, I should definitely say. Ruben! Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you here, mate. Good to see you, mate. I don't know. I hope you want to stay and watch me commentate. If not, it's fine. Commentator, yeah, I know. I'll be back for Stint 12 as well. I hope people want to hear my voice again. Right now, currently, it's gonna be a game of catch up. But there's not a lot Tintin can gain in that scenario. Obviously, he has made the mistake, but I guess if he can get 44s, that'll be fine. I'm tired. Had work today. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's nice. Take a rest, mate. I'm great. It's good to see you here, mate. By the way. No, I'm not racing, Ruben. I'm racing in something else, but I'm commentating for this race. It's a 24-hour race. Anyway, JP, good to see you. Good to see you here, JP. Obviously, love to see you here, mate. I hope you're keeping well. Hi, Luigi. Glad you're streaming this. Thank you, mate. I'm glad that I could get the opportunity by the IRO team to commentate and just have a good time here. Right. Hansa has closed up significantly. I can't stuttering a lot, but he has closed up significantly on the gap to Rafi here. It is a very high chance that Hansa can overtake P11 here. He is about almost a second, if not a second, a lap quicker than Rafi. A lap quicker, and this is some really, really good pace. He's keeping up with the others. Well, it's really, really good to see what's going on for someone like him right now, who's not had the greatest start, but he's had the motivation, he's had the courage, and now he's just fighting back, putting in the lap after lap after lap after lap, and he's just pushing it as much as he can, and that pace is just incredible. And there's not much you could say, it's not much you could do, really. S1 people watching. 51 people watching. Yeah, I know. It's great to have you guys here. I wasn't expecting this much amount of numbers, but again, obviously we have 14 teams. There's a lot of members in each team, and yeah, some teams just obviously they just want to stay up with the coverage. So it's good to see you guys here. If you want to say hello in the chat again, go ahead, and I will respond. It depends on how you want it. We've had a lot of people come in and come out of the chat. We've had about 200 messages, which is amazing to see, obviously. I've been responding, well, trying to respond to each and every one, that's for sure. Yeah, JP is saying, yeah, JP, yeah, it's not much you can ask for. Hold on, JP, I'm just gonna cut off there. Wardle has just found a way around the inside there, transitioning to the outside into turn 4. Tintin braking a bit late there. Exiting out of the corner. Mortal is going to have that advantage unless he messes up the exit. No, he doesn't, and that's given Mortal the overtake for P6 finally. So what felt like forever for Mortal has finally happened, and now with the pace he can potentially have, it is game on for P4. If Mortal has the pace and might have the pace to catch up to PRT and Vigany here, he can go for it and he can get P5 here. It'll be an interesting end to the stint. We only have about 13 laps, oh, not 13, but about 14 or so laps until the end. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I should also say, JP, sorry for cutting you out, but yeah, Hansa's doing a really, really good stint. Like I said, there's nothing much you could ask, and I think everyone in Race Asylum is very happy. But yeah, Mortal getting the overtake done, and now he has to catch up to Viggo and Vigany, I should say. I said his nickname for a second. Vigany. Yeah. But he has also got to say, yeah, there we go. That's really annoying, I'd say. It's really, really annoying when you make up all that time into sector 1 and 2 just for someone to overtake you on that chicane there. I think I know how Mortal feels. Mortal is going to go aggressive, though. He makes contact. Tintin goes sliding there, but he's got the overtake. Ay. A bit of rubbing there, but I think... Oh, again, Mortal just goes for the humongous send there. That was crazy to see. Mortal going for send on turn 1, turn 4. He's going really aggressive. I think he's just losing patience here. He knows he has to catch up to the Lexus. And the Rad team isn't helping because, again, they're both losing time. This is not what Mortal needs right now. I think he's just clearly frustrated with that send into turn 1 and turn 4. Maybe, yeah, it's hard to say if they can work together in this scenario because, you know, sometimes the drivers' confidence can clash into each other. Some drivers may feel like they're quicker, some drivers may feel like they're quicker, and that collides with each other, and now they just want to get that position for themselves instead of working with each other. And that's exactly what you're seeing in Split 2 most of the time. It's just drivers not working together most of the time. I'm going to cut out of that battle for a second. It looks like Wendigo has done a great job. He's done a great job, and he's closed up the gap significantly to Resistance here. Yeah, JP, like I said, these drivers should work together, but again, I think it's just the confidence of the drivers colliding with each other. If you think you're better, if you think you're quicker than somebody, you're always going to want to go past them and not work together. And you want the other guy to work, but then it just doesn't work, and then, you know, you just end up fighting and losing time, and it's really hard to understand how each other, like how people feel or how the cars, the guys feel when it comes to these races and these scenarios. And yeah, you can exactly see what this is on about, what I'm on about in this scenario, in this case and scenario. But yeah, Wendigo has closed up the gap to Resistance here, and that's caused him about 7/10 close now. So we have got about almost 10 laps to go between Wendigo and Resistance. This is going to be a nail-biting into the stint here. Resistance is going to have to defend like a lion for VRT here. Again, I know this driver, I know this guy. He is a very, very good defender. He knows how to defend. He knows how to take advantage of every scenario that he is in. But at the same time, Wendigo is a very quick driver. He almost got the fastest lap, as you can see on lap 55. And yeah, in that scenario, in that case and scenario, just it's interesting to see who wins here. Is it going to be Wendigo's pure pace and pure speed that can just give him the advantage here, or can Resistance hold on for about 10 more laps? And then that's just going to be beneficial for VRT there. Let's see. I think it's going to be. I think S7R and VRT, both teams are just watching. I guess, I don't know, shaking maybe, but yeah, it's hard to say for sure. God, my throat is quite sore here right now. I think there's been a battle almost every single lap, which is great for me. I don't think I would commentate this well without any battles, because obviously it would then just be a bit boring. But you know, it's nice to see some battles going on. It's nice to see, even though it is annoying, it is good to see some drivers just work. It's good to just see some drivers just fight each other, throw their hands into the fight, and just you know, attack really. Anyway, going into the chicane, does Wendigo really have enough slipstream in this scenario to close up to Resistance? Not quite. It's about 5 tenths, and he's not gaining anything. Still not gaining, heading into almost the start-finish line here. He's lost more time on the slipstream than he has anything. So it's been a really bad chicane, exit of the chicane through there. But he's closed up a lot of gap, a lot of the gap on the braking. Wow, really, really close there. Obviously now it's just up to the Casey task, seeing where he can find a position here. He knows he needs to have a good run out of the chicane, that's for sure. But again, it's hard to say for sure. You can always block up the chicane, and it's always going to be that task, just, you know, being better the chicane wise, and then you're just good for the rest of the lap. But it's hard to say for sure. Resistance definitely can defend looking at the gap he has to Ale, unless Ale can get some extra pace in. Ali's not doing bad himself though. That's 44s consistently so far since lap 54, and that's exactly what Ale needs here. Vigani is now losing that time to Mortal. That gap has went from 4 seconds to about 2.9, almost pretty much 3 seconds there. Lost about a second. And now going into the lap 10, it will be interesting to see. They're definitely going to be close going at the end of the race, but is it going to be a question of can Mortal get Vigani before his time runs out for the stint, or is it going to be Vigani to just hold on to P5 and then, you know, maybe just give it to their teammate, and then teammate can just relax and have a good nice drive potentially. We should see. It's hard to say you can have a good drive because you're going to be very, very close. You are very, very close. If you're taking into account a gap outside of the leaders gap, which Transatlantic Racing with Lame it's doing an incredibly amazing job, consistent 44s and sometimes dipping into the 43s. You can't say that's not incredible pace for sure. And you know what can you say about that? Lane doing exactly the job Transatlantic wanted. Transatlantic wanted a clean stint, a quick stint. He coped with the pressure. And he's got 9 laps to go until he can give it to his teammate. And that's also very beneficial for his teammate because he has the gap. His teammate has the gap to just relax with the pressure, and he can now just drive and cruise and have a clean race. We should also point out it is really close here. Bendigo has had a better not a better chicane, sorry, he's just come out of the right before the chicane. Going into the chicane, let's see if he can definitely get a better run. Let's go on board for a second. He's closed up a lot on the chicane, but on the exit, it's just nothing. It's just not good enough on the exit, really. You can see him using the advantage because the Aston Martin has really, really good brakes. So that's why when he's going into turn 1, he can always just brake later, be very close to resistance. However, when it comes to the exits, when it comes to overall top speed and acceleration, the Lexus is just it's just better when it comes to that aspect. But on the brakes, he's better than the Lexus. As you can see, he just closes up on the Lexus into turn 1, but he can't quite convert that into the exit. But that definitely helps him gain a lot of time into the corners. But then on the exit, it just balances out. But it is interesting to see how Wendigo is going to use this to his advantage, and you know, just see if he can make a move here and there later on in the stint. Obviously, a dive bomb or a dive here would be a little bit, it will be aggressive, definitely for sure. But when it comes to the end of the stint, it will be interesting to see how it goes on. It has been a very, very entertaining stint 1 for sure. The battle is going to continue on for stint 2. I have no idea who's streaming for stint 2. Sorry, I have no idea about that, unfortunately. That's not been noted. I don't know if Ray sent the link here, if she or any of the IRO staff has. If they have, I will pin the message real quick, and you guys can go watch that Stint 2 stream.
But otherwise, stay tuned, stay on board for the battle, because now the gap is closer than ever. 3/10, 2/10. He needs to close up, and that's closing up really fast. Going out of the banker, is it going to be 2/10? Is it going to be 1/10? It's now to 207, 195, 188, 180, 176, 170. Now, the Aston Martin has the advantage with it being, you can break it so late on the Aston Martin. But no, I think Wendigo's just gonna have to back off on that occasion. Doesn't get enough of an exit, it doesn't get enough of a good exit out there. Nothing much he can do. Maybe going into sector 2, there's something he could do in this scenario. As you can see, Resistance gets a bit slidey out of the exit there. But he's defending very well. He slows his car down before he goes into the corner, defending into the inside line, which means Wendigo is going to have to find a way around the outside, or just try to find a switchback, or even go for a better exit, but has to back off. Again, great defending by Resistance there. Otherwise, if he lets that door open, that could have been game over for him. But good defending by him overall. Stays P2s for now, and now it's back. They're back to step 1. S7 now back to step 1 to find a way around this guy. So let's see. We'll also fast forward. We'll also go back a bit to battle between P5 and P6 here. Mortal and Vigany. 3/10. 3/10 is the gap, and Mortal has also increased the gap between Tintin and himself. I should also compliment Tintin. He's had a great stint. The strategy for, I believe this is Rad, has worked out perfectly. Rad had started from P10 and had made up 3 positions with this strategy. Unless if MRL could find a way to fight them, but otherwise I think they are going to be fine. Rad, great strategy by them. I wonder if other teams are going to take note of what they've done in this stint and in this scenario, but it's hard to say for sure. I think it's something good. I think it's just a strategy that could be done by the BMW maybe. But anyway, Mortal round the outside into turn 1. Can he find a position? Can he find a gap? No, he's just gonna have to wait it out, and he's just gonna have to find a way through the exits of the sector 1, sector 2. He knows this. He knows the strength of the Porsche is through sector 1. He knows the strength of the Porsche is through sector 2, and this is exactly what he wants, being really close together. But I should say, good defending by Vigany here. He slows down on the inside of turn 4, which costs the exit of Mortal there. That's very, very good defending by him, and that causes him to just spread out and get himself a good gap for the next few sectors. But again, you're gonna have to watch out for the Porsches on the exit here. Let's go on board for a second and let's see how this is going on. 4/10 is the gap. Now it's all about the chicane here. What could you do in the chicane? And you're just gonna have to nail it. Don't fall under pressure, because again, there's a lot of pressure going on with the chicane, with how the chicane is played out in the circumstance. It's gonna go see the gap between Wendigo. Not there yet. Let's see the gap between Mortal and Vigany closing a little bit, going into the chicane. Mortal just outbrakes himself. Oh, but that might be good though. He's made it work though. Mortal outbrakes himself a little bit too much there, not hitting the first apex of the chicane. However, he's gonna have a good gap. I don't know if it should be enough, however, to get himself a slingshot into turn 1 here. It's hard to say for sure. But he's maxing out right now. There's nothing he can do. G10 stays the gap. There's not much he can do again with the Porsche straight line speed. It's just not competitive enough to match cars like the Lexus or cars like even the GTR and Corvette, really. It's unfortunate to see that. I will move away. I don't want to move away from this battle, because looking at it, it's still firing on. Because again, Porsche's strength is in sector 2. Is Mortal gonna find a way in this corner? He does find a way. He's gonna push him a little bit wider, just a little bit of contact made by Mortal, but he finds a way through, and that's P5 for V2 Esports team.
great job by Mortal, and that's given B2 Esports team exactly what they wanted, and that's put them in P5. And now now Mortal's job is to pull away and just give his teammate a good gap, and a good enough gap, just stay in a comfortable position. This Stint 2, well, outside of Lane, who's done an incredible job, is ridiculously close, and this is exactly the type of this is giving us a lot of entertainment here. It's interesting to see how this is going on and how this is working together. Hansa is currently, I think Hansa's just made a mistake or two looking at lap 61, because lap 61 has not. Lap 61 is a 2:00 lap time. I need somebody to reconfirm that with me, because it's not looking. I think he's got damage or something, because he's lost a lot of time to Rafi, where he was gaining just a few seconds and was very close to him, which is unfortunate. He did get damage there, because he was having a lightning stint before. Yeah. Thank you for the compliments, Gulf. Thank you so much. I will see if I can do this more. I wanted to split one, hopefully. Then I wanted with, if possible, and more of this, if possible. I will be back for Stint 12, but I don't know how entertaining Stint 12 is going to be. Definitely the gaps are going to be spread. This has been great, Lugi. Thank you, Shadow. Thank you. I want to do this more, and I'm happy with the opportunity I've been given, and it's great for me to. It's good for me to be. It's good. It's just a good opportunity. I can't say anything more. Definitely, I can't say anything more other than that. Wendigo now has the opportunity. Kind of no, not the exit that he needed. So he's just not gonna have straight line speed. He's not gonna have enough. He's just not gonna have enough of what he needs to battle resistance there. Just a bit spread out. Mortal going a bit. Ooh, that's interesting to see how much you're pushing. You can see exactly how much Mortal is pushing there. I think his job is now to just catch up to Ale, the guy he was catching up to just at the start of the race. He was just battling him for P2. Now that's changed. Both of these guys have made their mistakes, and that's caused them to just be P4 and P5. Both, I should give them both these guys their flowers, because there's been a great comeback from both of these guys respectively. Mortal doing a great job matching the leader space, not being quicker. And I should say, I should talk about the leader more, but I'll talk about him later, because Wendigo is trying to find a move around the outside. Not quite there. Closes up the gap on the exit though. Is Wendigo gonna go for a send on the inside? No, nothing. I think Wendigo's just gonna have to wait it out for the chicane. Wait it out. Have a good chicane, and this is gonna be good for S7R themselves. I'm gonna shoot. Yeah, I was just gonna shoot for back to the leader for a second. He's done a new fastest lap of the race, 43.825, and that is absolutely blistering quick for Spilit 2 there, and especially given the wind conditions you see in this lobby. And oh, look at that! Resistance has not got the exit he needed. He goes a bit. They both made contact there. I don't know if that was blocking by Resistance there, but Resistance had slipped away on their rears there. And that's not great. That's not great for Resistance. The gap is closer more than ever. But Vendy is just backing off there, apparently. If you're looking at that, Vendy is backing off. He's just letting go of the throttle. I think the job for Wendigo is to just put on the pressure then. Goes a bit wide as well. He's lost about 8/10 to Resistance there. It's not exactly what you need. And this amount of battling is also helping Ale and Mortal to catch up for a little bit longer. It's interesting to see how. Yeah, we've got a guy, but he's Italian, so it might not be great. Best English. All right, if you could send the link here, Ray, I'll just pin it, and these guys can just go to the stream, go to the Stint 2 stream, and that'll be amazing. But other else, I think this should be it for Split 1 in terms of battles, unless there is resistance that could make a few more mistakes, or any other guy that could make a few more mistakes. Tintin doing a great job, and I don't. But the gap is not closing nor opening for between Brad Racing Team and Poison Racing Team. So these guys are pretty much neck and neck on pace, and yeah, there's not much you could do here. Yeah, if somebody could share the link in the chat, that would be amazing. Then I could just pin it. I'm pretty sure I have to go get a good glass of hot water after this. Obviously, Stint 12 will be calmer for me, so I'll be a lot more calmer then. But I should say, our leader has about 2 more laps till their Stint switch, where they can just switch the cars. And I think Lame has done an incredible job of just, making the gap, just doing consistent lap times over consistent lap times over consistent lap times. 36-second gap is more than anything I think the team could have asked for, and that's just given him, that's given him more than anything. That's to say the least. Something really, really happy and amazing for Transatlantic Racing, and they're gonna be the team to be going into the next few stints. That's for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Meanwhile, VRT with Resistance given a job to take Stint 1 and then just be clean, have good lap times, have good pace, and then just defend as much as he can. And he's doing that job. He's doing that job that he needs to do. He's done exactly the job he has done. VES Racing Team has gone from 6th position to I believe this is P2 now, and that's just that is more than I think VES could have asked for. I think Pasina Caldo will be definitely happy with that if he is watching the stream, which will be interesting. Wendigo is Wendigo's also done an amazing job, I'd say. Climb back after that from that bad start at lap 1, lap 2, and ever since that he's just been picking up the pieces and he's got the pace, and he's given a 7R position where they can fight for P2 and even fight for the win, but it depends on how much these guys can catch up to Transatlantic Racing. Lame is now at 69 laps in, and now he's going to come into the pit lane soon. This will be the job well done for Transatlantic Racing Team. They're going to be the team to beat for the next few stints, and they're going to have the target behind the back, and it will be interesting to see if that target can be shot or if they can be beaten. But it will be interesting for sure. So stay tuned and go check out Stint 2 stream, boys and girls. Resistance Eater, great. VR did exactly what VRT wanted him to do, and there's not much you're gonna ask. He's gonna go in the stint very close behind Wendigo. He doesn't need to overtake. 2/10, 3/10 is enough of a gap to just be as close as they want, and Wendigo can just give the car to the guy in the next stint, and then that's for the guy in the next stint to hammer the gap down to and to just overtake VRT then. But VRT, again, they do have to push, and they will have to see what they can do in this second stint. Ale, good comeback, good recovery. Same thing could go for Just Mortal, giving the stint now to their car ahead. Both of these guys having a very, very good stint, just very good recovery in general. PRT keeping it clean as they can. Obviously, they did have the crash into turn 1 a few laps ago, I think a number of laps ago, and
since then they've just done a good job, and well, with the gas being this close, anything can happen in the next 2, 4, 6 hours even. Apex Magnet, MRL, clean stint from them, considering I believe they started a bit more lower down the grid, up in P11. Exactly what they needed. I should also say, yeah, that's about it. DMR, P9, did the job they needed to do. Jandy, battling with Grumpy, but in the end couldn't get that position at the end. And the next few cars in are going to be Rafi. Rafi battling with the cars there, but just had the collisions, had the spin outs, and just not what he needed. But however, there's a lot to come back. There's a lot to climb on for the next few stints. Hansa doing a good job recovering from that turn 1 collision, from that turn 1 lap 1 collision, and ever since then he's just done exactly what Race Asylum wants. And now he's gonna give the car to the guy ahead, and this is gonna be good for them. 1010's Ghost, not the greatest stint for them. However, they have done a good job in terms of lap times. They weren't the slowest team, that's for sure, when it comes to overall raw pace. But the consistency does matter. However, that's for them to decide. 3 minutes can be broken, then can be gained potentially for 1010s, but it just depends on how well they go, and how well they do in the next 22 hours left of this race. SRP, Racing Mass, also got a job to do. Obviously, it's going to be a hard job, but it is a job indeed you can do in that scenario. Alright. Right. Thank you guys for watching, by the way. Go check out Stint 2. It's open. Stint 2 streams if it's open. Yeah. Good luck all to the drivers in Stint 2 as well. Thank you. Closing the stream now. Thank you.